Welcome back to a special Inside KELOLAND. They are all considered some of the unsung heroes of both World War I and World War II. Lakota Native Americans formed a small unit known as the Lakota Code Talkers. Now, after years of work, their service is being honored with a life-size statue depicting one of the South Dakota Code Talkers. Joining us now through Zoom is South Dakota State Representative Tamara St. John. Thanks for joining us for Inside KELOLAND, Tamara.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited about this project.
Yeah, let's talk first though about who were the Lakota Code Talkers.
Sure, the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota Code Talkers they come from the 9 tribes in South Dakota, and many of them were also in World War I, but dominantly World War II, and from various tribes and in South Dakota that spoke our language fluently at that time, and they were used to create code and relay messages that were top secret.
Yeah, and through their own language. Why was that code so difficult for the enemy to crack?
I think because there's very little known about our written language or the different sounds. It was just a unique language, and using the dialects of Dakota and Lakota, much like we hear about the Navajo code talkers, they also utilize their language. There were other tribes that also did that. But yeah, for us in South Dakota, it was the Sioux language.
And for years after the war, they didn't or weren't willing or could not talk about their service.
They were really sworn to secrecy. And I've had the opportunity to review some of the interviews and the written transcripts of conversations from some of them. And in one instance, it was very clear that they were very fearful that if somebody knew that they were that person that had that code, that they could be endangered. Some of them were in fear for their lives because of that. And that really resulted in families not even knowing that their grandfather, great grandfather was a code talker.
Now talk about this project that you're involved with to honor these code talkers.
The Code Talker Monument began, of course, we know, as I said, in 2001, the Navajo Code Talkers were honored by Congress. In 2008, the Sioux Code Talkers, and right after that began the work to design the medals. And each of the medals are a unique design for each of the 9 tribes of South Dakota, and they were given to the families of the Code Talkers. And this is our goal, to honor them, their unique, amazing service. And we are hoping to complete this in time to have it at the Capitol grounds and a part of the project there.
And we saw some pictures of sculptor Darwin Wolf creating that sculpture to honor the Code Talkers. Talk about the progress on that.
Darwin is an amazing artist, and if you ever get a chance, I know that he often will take the 2 models that will eventually be life-size models of the Code Talkers. He's brought them to special events, tribal relations events, and sometimes at the VA for others to watch him working live. And the detail is really amazing. I think that in the end, that part of it is going to be very powerful.
Do we know when the statue will be completed and where it will be displayed?
We have been looking, of course, at the Capitol now, our beautiful Capitol Lake project. There's a lot of work that has to be done. And in 2023, we began probably a bigger portion of our fundraising, and that's really important. The tribes, together with the veteran service officers as lead for each of the tribes, along with the veterans from each tribe, are very diligent in their fundraising. And we are partnered with South Dakota Community Foundation, And we have been fundraising really strong since 2003. Each of the tribes also have a contribution, and we hope that that amount will rise as we move forward. But it has been acknowledged even through the past years in legislative session as being a part of the plan, the bigger plan, the master plan for the Capitol Lake grounds there.
Can individuals make individual donations to this project?
Absolutely, they can. If they'd like to, we also have a Facebook page for the South Dakota Code Talkers on their Facebook page. But we also have, you can make a tax-deductible contribution to the Code Talker Fund at South Dakota Community Foundation.
Mm-hmm. This has really been an honor, a long time in the making, right? And long deserved, right?
It has. You know, I think it really stems from wanting to ensure that the world knows that we have Native American people that have served our country, and how many, you know, is always stated per capita, you know, so many Native Americans enlist. And I do come from a military family too, and some, like in my family, had paid the ultimate sacrifice in many of the different conflicts. And I believe that this is going to be a fantastic way for the generations to come to Pierre, you know, and recognize their ancestors, their relatives, and the incredible service that they've done. We're very honored to have so much support. The governor and her efforts in 23, along with us, had supported us, and our congressmen and so many others.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, Tamara, for Inside KELOLAND.
Thank you.
The hidden history of the Code Talkers is just one example of how Native American veterans have been forgotten over the years. In 1986, Native American Vietnam veterans joined KELOLAND News and others in Washington, D.C. for a dedication of their own. We'll have that story coming up next.
They came thousands of miles to honor their dead and pay tribute to their unsung Vietnam veterans.
A lot of the Indian veterans felt hurt when the monument was put here to the wall, and then the three veterans from Vietnam, the white, the black, and the Hispanic veteran, they didn't have an Indian Vietnam vet on there.
Somehow the American Indian had been forgotten, and as time went out, we were basically overlooked when the statues were put up.
So they gathered just outside Washington to unveil their own memorial in Arlington Cemetery.
And as long as they're with us, as long as this plaque is here, as long as these songs honoring Vietnam veterans sung, they will not be forgotten.
Senator-elect Daschle vowed not to forget the living veterans.
So today we dedicate a plaque, but we renew that commitment to Indian veterans, that we will care, that we will provide, and that we will love.
Others praised Indian unity.
We feel that a significant historical event, you might say, it's, if not bigger than a little Battle of Little Bighorn.
We did it!
At Arlington National Cemetery, Linda Falkerson for KELOLAND News.
And we're going to be taking a quick break. We'll be right back with more Inside KELOLAND.